Just to give a bit of background, my dad was seriously ill. He had a form of cancer as well. I had a lump on my leg down here, just at the back of my right leg, which I couldn't see, but I knew it was there, and it was sort of becoming quite irritable. So my wife took some pictures of it, and we sent those to the surgery here in Tiverton, and they sent back a response saying that the pictures were a bit dark, and could we send some more? Now, because of the situation with my dad, unfortunately he passed away at the end of October, so we then had to go into sort of arranging funerals and telling friends and family and such like. So we didn't respond to the request for the pictures. In February of 2025, I had a standard dermatology appointment because I had some issues with my leg with cellulitis. So I went to see one of the doctors actually in Exeter, and it was one of the people that had also been treating my dad. So I did know her, and she had a look at my leg, and there was no issues with the cellulitis, but she saw this lump on my leg and said, that doesn't look good. So the very next day I had it removed, and in 2 weeks after that it was diagnosed as melanoma, stage 4 skin cancer. However you want to deal with it, get it checked as quickly as you can, as soon as you can. Refer it to a GP, refer it to a specialist, but yeah, certainly get it checked. Anything that you're not happy with or not sure about, the GP and the health, the NHS, they would much rather be able to deal with it as soon as possible. Got called in to speak to one of the nurses there. She explained to me and my wife that they discovered that the cancer was quite sort of widespread, and that it was stage 4, which is the worst sort of scenario. If I'm honest, I didn't probably comprehend exactly how serious that is. So yeah, it's very, very difficult, and certainly from my perspective, it took me, I would say, a month or so to actually get my head around what was going on. On the positive side, I did speak to people who were in the same situation or had sort of come through cancer, and was totally inspired by them, because they have sort of been on a similar journey but had come through it, and were able to sort of give me a lot of positive energy and a lot of positive feedback as to how they dealt with it. The doctors and nurses at the RD&E in Exeter have been just amazing. So full credit to the NHS from that side. And then I think we're also very fortunate that we have Force in Exeter, who a cancer support group, which is, I think, fairly unique because they are based locally. So we are very fortunate to have that facility. And again, I can't kind of speak highly enough really of how helpful that's been. I would recommend that people reach out to whatever support is available. Easy to say, but try and be as positive as you can. It's not going to be for everyone in terms of having that kind of mental strength, but there is plenty of support available. Can I mention as well about the support group that's been set up in Tiverton? I think it's a really, really good thing to do. I'm a big fan of support groups from my working life, and for me it's great to be able to have that sort of opportunity to share experiences with other people. Again, I understand it's not for everybody, but the group that's been set up now in Tiverton is really good. It's really friendly. It's in a nice sort of space, and It's happening on the first Tuesday of every month. So I think it's a really good thing, and I would encourage other people to come along, because, as I said before, I think being able to sort of share your experiences is very, very therapeutic, very helpful, and it can really help others to get through things. I would hope that more people would buy into it and would be prepared to come along. They're going to be well received, warmly welcomed, and it's something I think that will benefit people. What I've discovered is that cancer affects something like 50% of the population. It happens everywhere, and there's been some very high profile people who have had cancer in the last couple of years, obviously members of the royal family and such like. I credit to them for being open and honest with what they've done, because you realise that it doesn't just affect ordinary people, it kind of affects everybody. So there is some comfort in that.